thank you for joining me. Now today I'm going to be talking to you all about my favourite products from LANCôME. And I'm really excited because LANCôME is definitely one of my top favourite brands. It's probably between LANCôME and Estee Lauder. It keeps changing which one is my ultimate favourite brand. By the end of this video, I think it's probably going to be LANCôME, but we'll see. Okay, so let's get straight into it then. Let's put the hairband in and get going. Get some of this makeup on my face because I do have to go out today. I've got a few bits and bobs to do, so I do want to have a nice looking face by the end of it. Now then, let's talk about LANCôME foundations because I've always loved LANCôME foundations ever since this one came out. I think it was back in 1997, wasn't it? This came out and I bought a bottle and I've been in love with it ever since. And at the time I fell in love with their mascaras too. They're just lovely, lovely ones. Now, I actually own 3 LANCôME foundations. As I just shown you, I do have the classic Teint Idole Ultra Wear, and this is LANCôME's full-on, full coverage, long wearing, long lasting, good for oily skin foundation. So this is one that I would use say in the height of the summer when my skin is at its oiliest, on the days when I really want to get a good 8, 9, 10 hours, I'll reach for this one. And I have this in the shade 235N. I also have one of the Teint Idole Ultra Wear Care and Glow foundations. And I really like this one in the colder months. So in the winter when it's very cold, this one is a lot more hydrating on my skin. It feels nice and moisturizing. I don't get the full long wear that I would get from this one, I find, but it just feels more caring and more nourishing on my skin. As it says, it's Care and Glow, and I think this one has some nice skin loving ingredients in it as well. So I've got those 2, which I tend to wear at different times of year. However, my favourite foundation from LANCôME is their stick foundation. I just absolutely love this. And I was told about this time last year that they were discontinuing it by the lady on my local LANCôME counter. She told me this. She said they didn't have my shade anymore, and she said that they'd been running down the shades, you know, they hadn't been getting the same amount of stock sent through as usual, so she believed that they were discontinuing it. Anyway, I was so upset because this had been my favourite foundation for a long time. Anyway, I'd been shopping in other areas and going to the LANCôME counters and asking about it. And there were some mixed feelings. Some people felt that maybe it is being discontinued, but other people were like, no, we haven't heard that. We've got all the stock the same as usual. And I looked on the LANCôME website this morning and this is on there. So I don't think it is being discontinued after all, and I'm delighted about that because I absolutely love it. And as I said, I would use this one in the summer when my skin is at its oiliest. I'd use this one in the winter when I'm at my driest. And for the rest of the year, when my skin is just normal, I reach for this one. And this is the one I'm going to use today. Now, I love a stick product. Look, it's this retractable, it's this sort of colour. Let me show you actually what the colour is. It's 250 Bisque, if you can see that. I will list all the products down in the description box below with all of the shades that I wear. I don't think I showed you the shade of this one, did I? 220C. So I'm neutral, leaning cool toned usually in foundations, but I absolutely love this. And I'm so pleased that it's still going to be around. I mean, look at that colour match. It's perfect for my skin, isn't it? It really is. So I'm just going to whack this on. It's so easy. It's portable. You can put it in your handbag. You can take it out with you. You can travel with it. And it's not a glass bottle that you have to worry about breaking. It's just really convenient. And the product itself is beautiful. I love the finish that I get from this. I just find it so just so smoothing, really. It covers everything I want it to cover. It doesn't enhance the things that I don't want it to enhance. I do have the old crow's feet, the fine lines around here. I have pores around here, which can be quite visible. I've got these horizontal wrinkles on my forehead, you know, the usual things that you get when you're in your late 40s. So sometimes I find that foundations can really emphasize those things. But this one really doesn't. It just glides on lovely and smooth and gives me exactly the level of finish that I want. I'd say it's a medium buildable coverage. Definitely is buildable. There we go. And I'm blending this in with my It Cosmetics Heavenly, what's it called? Heavenly Luxe Complexion Perfection brush. Just blending it in with that. I mean, if you see me before, you'll know that I often use my fingers to blend in a foundation, and I often do with this one as well. That works really nice too. But I don't know, just thought I'd use a brush today. Right, so there we are, very nice. Now for concealer, I still really like this one, the Teint Idole Ultra Wear All Over Concealer. And the thing that I like the most about this is the formula has polymers in it that actually move with your skin. And I find that that really helps the product to not crease throughout the day. The new Estee Lauder Double Wear Concealer has that same technology. And I really like it. I do find that it kind of melts into my skin and it moves with me, so you don't get those cracks, you know, those cracks and creases that sometimes you can get. And just using the concealer end of this dual-ended brush just to blend this in. Okay, there we go. Lovely, lovely concealer this is. And it's a really nice size as well. I mean, look at the size of this. It's a nice little fat container. You get does that say 13 mil of product in there, which is really quite generous, isn't it? And it's called an all over concealer, and you can use it all over your face. What I sometimes do on the days when I don't want to wear much makeup, I'll just put little dots of this just here and there, blend it all in, and that gives me enough coverage, you know, just on those days where you just don't want to wear much. Really like it. Okay, there we go. So that's those base products on. Now for powder. If you have oily skin or combination oily like me, I highly recommend this loose powder from LANCôME. It's called Long Time No Shine Loose Setting and Mattifying Powder. Again, I'll write it all out in the description box below if you are interested. But it does an amazing job at just mattifying the T-zone, and I do find that when I use this powder, my makeup does last and I'm not having to powder it as much through the day. So I'll just take a little bit of that in the lid. It does come with one of these little powder puffs as well, which I really like. But I'm using my brush, my powder brush, this one from Morphe today. Swirl it in the lid, tap off the excess, and then I'm going to just go into that centre panel of my face just to set the concealer and the foundation and just help it to stay mattified for as long as possible. You don't need much of this powder. A little does go a long way. It lasts for ages. I've had this little tub, must be about 3 years, and okay, I don't use it every day. I use it more in the warmer months when I feel that my skin is at its oiliest. But it's just lasted really, really well. I think if you store your products in like a dark, cool place. I mean, I've got a set of drawers upstairs where I tend to store all my makeup. Just keep it out of the light, keep it out of the heat. Then I do find that you do get a good long wear out of it. Let me just out of interest see how long it says it lasts. 24 months. So it actually says on there that it will last you for 2 years. I've had it longer than that, but I mean, you use these things at your own risk, don't you? As I say, if you keep your brushes clean, and if you store things correctly, you can definitely get longer out of them than it says on the date in my opinion. I'm probably going to get in trouble, aren't I, for saying that? It's all just my opinion. Okay, there we are. The base products are on. Now, moving on to bronzer, which would be my next step. This, I can confidently say, this is my all-time favourite bronzer. And I discovered it earlier this year, and it's this one. It came out, I believe it came out towards the end of last year, but I was still using up ones that I already had on the go. So I didn't get around to purchasing this until I think it was February this year. And it is the CE Skin Transforming Bronzer. And I just find this to be very perfecting on my skin. It kind of has an airbrushed effect, I find, on my skin. I use it in the shade 02 Light. And I do feel, out of all of the options that they had available, that this is the most cool toned. It looks quite warm toned there in the pan, but once it's on the skin, I do find it is quite a nice cool toned bronzer. And I'm just going to go in with my old trusty Real Techniques multitasking brush and just get some of that product on there and go in just in my, under my cheekbone area, just there. This brush, it's so great for bronzer. I've heard a lot of people say that as well. And especially if you use a cream bronzer as well, I've heard that this brush is really good for that. And I mean, look, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it just makes your skin look lovely, doesn't it? It adds a certain amount of life and luminosity to your skin, I think. And I always like to put a bit up on the top of my forehead as well, because I have quite a large forehead. If you don't, you probably won't do this. We get to know our own faces, don't we, over the years? But that is a really, really beautiful, beautiful bronzer. As I say, it is my all-time favourite. I love it. Okay, now let's move on to blush. And a couple of months ago, they launched some new formula blushes, didn't they? And I was always a big fan of the old formula. So it was one of those, you know, where I was like, oh no, I hope they've not gone and ruined it. Because I used to love, this is the old one, this one. And this is in the shade Blushing Tresor, it's called, this old one. And it's a gorgeous peachy pink with a bit of a golden reflect in it. Quite similar to NARS Orgasm, actually, if you're familiar with that one, but it's just a lovely, beautiful colour. And I've gone through a couple of these over the years, and it was one of my favourite blushes. But then they went and reformulated them, and I was nervous. Anyway, the one that I saw that looked the most similar to that was in the shade Coral Clash. And let me just open it and show you. Here it is. And it's beautiful and I really like it. So that was a relief. And it's got a similar pattern on it as the bronzer. Let me just show you the bronzer. Don't know if you can see because I have used this bronzer a lot, but it's got that similar swirly pattern in it. I think it's meant to look like a rose close up. You know, the petals of a rose. I think it's meant to look like that. And if I just compare this new blush with the old one, you can see that they are very similar, aren't they? In fact, the new one, it does have a sheen. It's a satin finish. It's definitely not matte, but it doesn't have the bits of sparkle in it that this one does. So I actually prefer the new one because I don't really like bits of sparkle in my products anymore. I just don't. I think if you have any texture on your face, those sort of really ultra shiny products can emphasize it, and that personally is something that I want to avoid. So this blush is really, really good because it doesn't have that. And I'm going to use one of these Sephora brushes. It's the 04 blush and bronzer. And on the other side, it actually says it's for blush and contour. So it's quite nicely angled, as you can see. So you can use it for blush or contour or bronzer. Versatile, that's what we like. So I'm going to take a bit of this on this brush and just apply it over my cheekbone area. And oh, it's so beautiful. I love it. And I know I always put too much blush on. And you lot are not afraid to tell me, are you? I know. No, I love it. I love your feedback. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. But I love blush. It's definitely my desert island makeup item of choice. A lot of people say mascara, don't they? But for me, it's definitely blush. Love it. I think it makes you look fresh, and I think it's quite a youthful look as well, isn't it, to have a nice colour in your cheeks. Not that I'm trying particularly to look youthful, but, you know, I just want to look fresh and healthy and the best I can for the age I'm at. Absolutely love that. Beautiful. Right, now let's move on to eyebrows. Now I don't actually have a LANCôME eyebrow pencil, so I'm just going to fill them in quickly using my MAC, what's this called? Veluxe brow liner in the shade Redhead. It's just one of these pencils with a spoolie on the end. So I'm just going to go quickly through over my tattooed areas. I had them tattooed last year, coming up to top up time soon, so be going for that. Same again on the other side. I don't do much with my brows, as you can see. I don't actually have a lot of hair there anymore. Plucked them all out in the 90s, didn't I? As a lot of us did, didn't we? Alright, so I'm just going to go over that just to make them a little bit darker and a bit sharper, and then go through with the spoolie just to soften it a little bit. There we go. Now for eyeshadow. Oh, I absolutely love LANCôME's eyeshadow palettes. You know, the little quints with the 5 colours. And I actually spoke about them in a video that I did a couple of months ago now, all about underrated products. And I really feel that these LANCôME eyeshadows are very, very underrated. The palette I'm going to use today is this one. It's called Fresher Rosé, and it's number 9, and I love it because it's a pretty neutral palette, and day to day I do prefer to wear neutrals on my eyes, but they've definitely got like a rosy tint to them. This deeper shade here has got a lovely sort of purpley like berry tone to it, and the rest of them are just like beigey browny neutrals, and you've got this gorgeous shiny shade in the middle here. And I just find on my green eyes these colours are very, very flattering. If you have green eyes yourself, you'd probably like this palette too. If you have other eye colours and you've used it, let me know. How does it look on you? I'm always happy to hear from you about how these products work on you, because we're all different, aren't we? Before I go in with that though, I'm just going to prime my eyelids, and I don't have a LANCôME eyeshadow primer, so I'm just going to go in with my Vive Eye Wand in the shade Vanilla, one of these twisty up eyeshadow sticks. Yeah, I need to look into whether LANCôME do an eyeshadow primer. I'm not sure if they do. I know they do a face primer, but as I said earlier, I often don't use a face primer. But if I'm wearing eyeshadow, I will always use an eyelid primer, because I think it makes such a difference, especially if you do have oily eyelids, like I sometimes do. Certainly in the summer I do, because that just really freshens and brightens up that eye area, doesn't it? And it'll just neutralise any discoloration that you might have, any visible veins or anything like that. So that's a lovely eye primer stick. Right, onto this gorgeous palette then. Now, what brush am I going to use? I'm going to use my MAC 217. It's just classic domed shape like that. And I'm going to go into this browny shade here. Just get some of that on my brush. And just apply it gently through my crease area on this eye. They're so blendable. They're buttery. They're beautiful. I know everyone always goes on about Natasha Denona and Pat McGrath, don't they, in terms of eyeshadows. And yeah, those brands do beautiful eyeshadows. I've got some myself. But in my opinion, these LANCôME shadows are just as blendable, just as buttery. Okay, you probably don't get the same impact as you would with the Pat McGrath, especially with the really shiny, sparkly shades, you know. But that's not a look that I would want to go for anyway. I prefer a more natural, subtle look with my eyeshadows anyway. So I love these. I've got a blue one as well. Earlier in the year, I was experimenting a bit more with colourful eyeshadows. You might have seen the video I did on about blue eyeshadows. And it was fun. It was fun playing with that. And I have worn them a few times. But I don't know. At heart, I am a neutrals person. I do really, really love them. Especially neutrals with a little hint of colour, like with this purpley shade on the end here. It's got a little hint of something to bring out your eye colour. Yeah, it's just so classic. And I don't know, I just find this colourway very sophisticated, I suppose. And it goes with lots of different outfits, lots of different colours. So there we are, that's that shade on my eyeballs. And next, I'm going to use my MAC 239, I think this one is. And I'm going to go into that lovely deep purple shade there, just on the end of this brush, and just apply it in the outer corner. There, just like that. Just a little bit, that's all you need in that outer corner. I'm going to blend in a minute, so I'm going to go back in and do the same on the other side. Over here, absolutely beautiful. I'm not getting any fallout or anything from these shadows, which is more than I can say for those other brands that I mentioned earlier. I do get fallout from those shadows. There we go. I just think LANCôME really know what they're doing, because they are one of those classic heritage brands. They've been around for such a long time, haven't they? They really know what they're doing. Okay. Now then, before I go in with a big fluffy brush to blend all of this, I'm going to use my pencil brush from MAC, and I'm going to go into the very lightest shade here and just apply some of that into the inner corner. Just very gently in there. And again on the other side. Lovely, that just wakens everything up, doesn't it? A bit of a lighter shade in there. And then on my finger, I'm going to go into this lovely middle shade here. And I'm just going to apply that in the middle, and just in there on my mobile lid, just across there. It's lovely. And it's nice because it's got quite a peachy tone to it, which you'd think probably wouldn't go with a rosy purpley toned palette, but it does, it really does. And I think sometimes a contrasting colour can really help to bring out the other shades a bit more, and I think it does in this case. There, really like that. Gorgeous. Now, have I got my liner brush? Oh, I don't think I do I? Okay, it's fine. I'm going to use the pencil brush again, and I'm going to go into that deep dark colour, and I'm going to use it just along the lash line, just to deepen things up a bit more on there, and same again on the other side. Okay, and because I'm feeling fancy today, I'm going to take a little bit of that and just run it underneath my lower lid. Just there, just a little bit, it's all you need. Just under there like that. Oh, love it. Beautiful. Okay, now moving on to eyeliner now. I've recently found this new eyeliner from LANCôME and I absolutely love it. It's Le Stylo Waterproof, one of these pencils. And this one is in the shade Prune Radical, and it's one of their matte eyeliner pencils. So you've got your retractable end there. I love a retractable pencil. It's just a gorgeous, deep, pruny, plummy colour. And then you have your smudger on the end as well. And I'm just going to run this across the top of my upper lid here. It's holding my skin there so it's not moving around. As we get older, our eyelids take on a mind of their own, don't they? And we're doing things and the skin's going all over the place. So I just like to hold it still so it doesn't move around as I'm applying my eyeliner. Beautiful. And I'm going to tight line as well, just under there a little bit on that outer corner. Just to thicken up the lash line there. It's lovely, isn't it? A little bit more, just going into the centre a bit. And this will last all day. They really are very long wearing, these pencils. So let's do the same again on the other side. And let's tight line. Lovely. What do you think? Nice, isn't it? Okay, now moving on to mascara, and I think LANCôME mascaras are some of their standout products. I really, really do. The Hypnose mascara that they've done for many years, I think is still the best-selling mascara in the world. I believe, I know it was, I think it still is. But another product that they're well known for is their lash primer, which comes in a tube like this. It's called the Cils Booster XL. And I don't know if you use a lash primer or not. I know some people absolutely swear by them, don't they? And other people don't feel that they need one. Well, I don't use one all the time at all. But when I really, really want that impact from my lashes, because I don't wear false lashes, I find them very fiddly and I just can't do it. So rather than messing about with that, I will sometimes use this lash primer. And I do find it gives me a lot more impact, a lot more volume on my lashes. And because we're looking at LANCôME products today, I couldn't not use this. So I'm just going to go in with a layer of this on my right eye. Lovely. Back in, get some more product, and I'm going to do the same on my left eye. There we go. And the lady on the counter said to me years ago, don't apply your mascara when this is still really wet, but don't allow it to dry out completely either. Just give it a minute or two, just so that it can go tacky, and then apply your mascara over the top, and they'll adhere to each other nicely. Now, for years and years and years, I used this mascara, and it's the LANCôME Hypnose Doll Eyes mascara in waterproof. If you know me, you'll know that I need a waterproof mascara. Having combo oily skin means that my eyelids can get oily, and if the mascara isn't waterproof, the oils from my lids can come through and interfere with the mascara a bit and just make it smudge and smear over my skin, which is not ideal. So I use a waterproof. I have for many years. My ultimate favourite, if I'm honest, is the YSL Lash Clash in waterproof, but a very, very close second would be this, the Doll Eyes, the Hypnose Doll Eyes in waterproof. Used it for years. However, I'm not going to use that one today because I've actually had this tube for a long, long time and it's expired. So I don't want to give myself an eye infection today, so I'm not going to use it. I did pick up the small size of this mascara, the Idole, because I hadn't tried this yet. I know it's been out for a little while now, hasn't it? And I hadn't tried it because I've been so happy with my YSL. I just thought I'm not going to bother trying any more mascaras. But obviously, I was doing this video today. I wanted to have a few more up-to-date products just so that I could give you my most up-to-date opinion on them. So I thought, I am going to buy this. It's the small size, so if I don't like it, it's not the end of the world. I have been using it, and I can tell you, I really, really do like it. So there you go. The brush is slightly curved. It is one of those rubbery ones, which I quite like. So let's go over this primer now and just see the effect that this will give to my lashes. Now, bear in mind, I've not curled them. I don't use any serums. I don't use any of those Revita lash growth serums. I don't use anything like that. This is just my natural lashes, having not been curled. And I mean, look at that. I think that's really impressive. Let's do the same again over here. You know, whenever I do a video and I'm using like products from one particular brand, I use things that I might not have used for a long time, and I think, wow, why did I ever stop using this? And now I'm thinking, am I going to use this now more than my YSL? Because look at that. That is really, really nice, and it's so black. It's so dark as well. Now, I don't know, because this mascara is not waterproof. It doesn't claim to be waterproof, but the lady on the counter told me it's water resistant. And she did say she's sure I'll get on well with it. Another reason why I bought the small one, because you never know, do you, unless you try things sometimes. But I think that that is really, really beautiful. And, you know, if it stays put through the day, then this would probably be one of my top mascaras. But I can tell you, because this isn't the first time I've wore it, it does slightly smudge through the day. Now, that's a me problem. It's not that mascara's problem. All mascaras will smudge on me if they're not waterproof. It's just to do with my skin type and my eyelids. As I say, they are quite oily. But for now, I think that's really, really nice. So let's move on to lips. Now then, I've got 2 lip liners and 2 lipsticks that I'm going to show you today. I've got one of their old lip liners, one of these lip liner, and this one is in the shade Rose Tay, I think that's pronounced. It's T-H-E with an accent. I think that's Rose Tay. I've not done French since I was 16 at school, so forgive me. Anyway, it's number 06. But this pencil is really old. I don't actually know if they still do this. One that I have bought more recently, though, is one of these. It's the Idole, the LANCôME Idole eye pencil. And I'm going to use this one today. And this one is in the shade Shakes Rosy Nude 50. And I'm just going to lightly line the outer rim of my lip, going along that vermilion border. You know, where your lip, as you can get older, it can lose a bit of pigmentation, can't it, just in this outer line. It's called the vermilion border. And sometimes I like to take quite a light colour lip liner, one that's quite close in tone to my natural lip skin, and just line over it like this, just to bring some pigment back to that border area. And it just makes your lipstick go on nice and not bleed out as much either. So just a very light layer of that. Lovely, nice colour that, isn't it? So for lipsticks then, I've got these 2 to show you. Now this one is one of their classic creamy lipsticks. It's in the shade 07 Bouquet Nocturne, it's called. And I love the packaging on these. You've got the little LANCôME flower there, and you press, which end do you put? You press it like that, that's it. And then you pull it out. And this is this lovely shade. It's like a pinky red, like a light pinky red. I think it's lovely. It brings a lot of life to my face, this one does, I feel. There we are. And the other one is one of these. Now these lipsticks, they're very balmy. They're very like hydrating. They're very shiny. It's more like a lip balm than a lipstick. I'll just show you here, but that's a beautiful colour, isn't it? Really, really nice. And this shade is, what's this shade? I've got the box actually, let me show you. I kept the box because I did buy this fairly recently. And it's number 33, Idole Nude. This one is. And that's lovely. But I think for today, I want a bit more of a full-on colour, I think, to go with this makeup look. So I'm going to use this cream lipstick. Let's do the thing again. Which end was it? That end. No matter how many times I do this, I always forget which end it is you have to press. It's fun though, isn't it? Right, so let's go in with this lipstick. Oh, I love the smell. It's so nostalgic, isn't it? That lipstick smell from LANCôME. And YSL lip products always have a lovely smell too, don't they? There we are. I know I'm not usually a big fan of fragrance in makeup, but I don't mind it with lip products. That is beautiful. So there we go, my full face of LANCôME makeup. And the products that I've used today are my top favourite picks from the brand that I've had in my collection and I've used for many years, apart from the few bits that are new, obviously. So there you go. What do you think? How do you feel about LANCôME as a brand? Is it a brand that you go to yourself? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you if you've subscribed as well. It's lovely to have you here. And if you haven't, I'd really, really love it if you'd consider it. and I will see you again in my next video. Well, have a lovely day and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.